3:30, late day Q&A, trade ideas Friday, closing out the week here in the markets. Give everybody a moment, start to pile in here. Hopefully we get a good crowd, some good engagement, some questions, some comments. All right, looks like my video's good. Looks like the audio's good too. Perfect. Good stuff. Again, so the way I like to do this is a completely open forum on question and answers for Trade Ideas software. Whether you're a subscriber, you're someone who's interested in the software, like to know some of our capabilities, have something demonstrated. I will try to fill the airtime with interesting content all the same if nobody has any comments or questions or anything else they'd like to look at. We're still a little bit early, the first moments here. Just dive around some things that I was looking at here through the day, some stuff on my personal liked list, ARRY. It's one of those stocks that seemed to elude me here. Just couldn't get on the right side of it when I was trying to trade it back here. Thought that we'd made our move there. Coming up, thought we had one push through. I thought we were going to get another push through, and came back down and got me out. And I've gone on to do some big things here, so filled that gap. So some good stuff there. Chart wise to look at. And again, I just, over and over again, I'm going to keep saying how it's an open forum. I like it when you all bring your questions in for me. I want the content to be more tailored around the software itself and be informative of the software, not just talking about charts and markets and things like that. There's time and place for those things, and I am happy to go over stuff like that. I just want users and curious entities of the software to get their money's worth out of what we can do here for them. So, all right, we got a couple of minutes into this here. We're quiet on the questions panel. Last couple of days, we were messing around with building some alerts. We could always get back into that. Let's see. Let's dive in here. Let's dive in and build an alert window. So, I've always got some thoughts on some alert windows. So who knows, maybe we start to turn some of these live sessions in that are really quiet and building maybe we build the next Holly together. Who knows? I've never done anything quite like that. I've done some major optimizing, but I'd call it more over optimizing than a healthy optimizing. And what I mean by that is, you can over optimize a scan so it looks great for the period of time it was optimized for, but moving forward, it doesn't look so good. And then those back tests can start to fall apart as you get away from the optimized time that it was done during. But with that said, let's, as I like to start out, I always come to the window specific filter first and kind of clean that up so we can start fresh here. The reason why I don't click start from scratch is I don't want to lose all the columns that I already have involved in the scan. So, come here, get rid of the values on there. Let's unselect the alert, new high. I've kind of gotten away from new high alerts for the time being, just playing with some other stuff. And let's dive in here. What kind of scan do we want to make? What are we looking at? Maybe we want some kind of pullback alert. That's what we were working on the other day. So let's continue down that road, but with a different alert here. And again, I want this to be an open forum. So if nobody's going to chime in with questions, I'm just going to start building alerts and talking about what I'm thinking and what I'm doing. If someone has a suggestion, or they want to move away from building this alert, something that they want demonstrated or to work on, fire away in the questions panel. That's what it's there for. But with that said, 75% pullback from the lows of the open. So what does that mean? All right, we can always click help here and get a web page just in case we don't understand what it is that we're trying to look at. And we get a quick synopsis here on these different ones, subscribe chart, corresponding stocks. and gives us a quick description, synopsis on what we're looking for on that specific alert. So we can see this can report that alert more than once per day. So that might be something we want to consider on the do not repeat function of the alerts. All right. Examine reprint. So, all right, so we got an idea of what that might mean. Let's go with maybe a pullback from the open. So we're looking at, report an alert. Stocks return 25 or 75% of the way back from that low, but we're going to do it for the open instead of the close. So, all right, interesting stuff there. All right, to work with. So that's going to be the alert that we're going to work with. We're going to add that alert. We're going to put that in here. We're going to check it. So that's in our selected alerts tab. We're going to get rid of these ones here. Sorry, hide unused. All right, so let's clean that up. And we're going to come to window specific filter. I'm going to go with things that I kind of look for unless someone starts chiming in things. So let's first give it a price range. I don't like stuff that's on the lower end these days, kind of moving up. So we're going to go with $8 minimum. I also don't trade things that are super expensive. So we're going to go with the $35 maximum. All right. Let's open that up a little bit for the masses here. We'll go with a $50 maximum on this. All right. Want to see some volume. Want to see some movement. So let's see. We got that. Let's think for a minute. What kind of volume do we want to see? So let's come and search our volume filters. All right. I'm going to get the grand list of things here. All right. Options volume, that might be something to consider. Something that's got a retracement like that. Maybe there's some options that's kind of involved in it. Thinking hard here. And again, if someone has some kind of idea, please, by all means, throw it out there for me. We're doing another kind of pullback alert, Dan. But I'm looking at. I was looking at the selected alerts here, and we're going to go with a pullback from the lows, 75% pullback from the lows off the open here. That's what I'm thinking. So, kind of a theme that we'd been working with already with that pullback alert, but working in a different angle here. And so now I'm thinking about volume and what kind of volume do we want to have in here. So, I don't like to jump in things too early. And if we're looking at a pullback from the open, we're going to be starting later anyways. So, let's go with the volume. Let's go with shares traded today. Let's make sure we're working liquid here. Let's see. Let's get 100,000 shares at least on the day so far. All right. What do I know about pivot percent filters? I don't work with them much. We could take a dive into them, of course. Here's what we have for options. Oops, pivot. So there's your distance. All right. I mean, they're a look back. So, what we can always, click and help, just like I did before with that, and we can bring this over. All right. So, your resistance 1 and 2, and they're looking at these levels here. So they're based on previous day highs and lows. So, that's really, it's kind of standard stuff as far as the pivots go. If you have like more of a specific question on them, and we could create something real fast scan wise and see how it correlates to looking at those. They'll be different for every stock because it's looking at the previous day's resistance on that specific stock. So it's going to be unique to each individual stock, how that filter is calculating it. I've messed around with pivots a little bit. I just haven't had a lot of success with it. Just kind of the way things have gone for me. I'll say I've put medium effort into it, not maximum effort into it. Change from close. Yeah, we could add a change from close. Sure. So to look at things that were strong anyways on the day. So we added so we got a minimum volume of 100,000 shares. We can go change from close, or we could do a gap too. Either one works. Gap is more static though, where the change from close is going to continue to calculate. But where are we looking? Change from close. I like to work in percents, unless you have a better idea with dollar wise. We'll add that filter, and well, let's throw a 1% change from close in there, so we know. you know, I just some people get crazy with it. 10% change from close, and it's like, well, how many stocks are going to meet all that criteria and have a change from close 10%? What do you think about average true range filter intraday trades in order to filter out small movers? I like average true range. To be honest, it's something I just started using in the last couple of months here with some different scan building that I've been messing around with. Um, I will also say, if you don't want to be handcuffed to that 14-day period, we have range filters that work in different time periods too. So we just come here real fast. We go range. All right, let's clean out the alerts. We're not concerned with alerts. We just want filters right now. All right, and so we could, how fast are you trying to look to move? Are you looking for things with a huge range really recently? So I think part of that will play into your kind of time frame. But there's your average true range right there, and then we have some different ranges on these different days here too. Um, so something else I've been messing with recently is also a 5-day range, because if we're looking at an intraday scan, we kind of want to see stuff that's been doing things recently. 3-day, no 3-day, but we got a 5-day. So we could go with a 5-day, and we could add that filter. All right. And we could say stuff that's been moving at least, throw in $1 there, unless there's a different number you want to throw in there. So, so far we're building a scan. So the alert catalyst is going to be that 75% pullback off the lows of the open. All right. We're looking at stocks between $8 and $50. They got to be up at least 1% from the previous day, traded 100,000 shares, and they got to have a range of at least $1 over the last 5 days. All right, so that's what we're looking at so far. I think that's an okay place to start. And we're going to call this 75% pullback from open lows with 5-day range. All right. So there we can see this is what we're working with so far. And let's just, today seems like an all right day to have a set of data to look at. Whoops, grabbed the wrong thing here completely. There we go. Sorry, I grabbed something from a different window with my compare count filter windows. All right, so that was the last alert, but late day alert on a Friday. Plus, it's a Friday, kind of tricky. But let's just look at today, for example, and let's see how much stuff came through. Not a terribly large amount of alerts, so I do like that. And let's just kind of see the quality of these alerts that came through and what we're working with here. So did this top ticket 1261? It didn't top ticket. Actually, no, not bad. All right, so it got it there. We came back down, pierced down here, and kind of just was a grind up the rest of the day. And while we didn't set the world on fire, it's nothing ugly either. Let's just expand that 5-minute chart a little bit here, just to get us all that data snap. So, all right. And now these are early alerts are kind of a lot of head fakes in the morning, a lot of big topping tails, bottoming tails, and things like that. So this one, no, not so great. Closer to a top tick on that. While I got it at 1310, which is in here, and it ran all the way up into 1330s, and not something really to work with, not realistic. But again, those alerts in the first few minutes, it's tough to work with those first few minutes alerts. But SKIN actually just pulled this off my liked list. As a matter of fact, I've been all over it all through a lot of this here. Been on the right side, the wrong side of it a few times. With all that said, so 2479. So we get that alert early in here. So, and again, it's in the first 2 minutes of the day. So I'm still kind of about it, but, kind of went afterwards. Earnings obviously playing a role into this whole thing here. let's scroll up. Let's get past the open here. At least 5 minutes in SCO. What are we looking at? Ultra short pro nonsense. We don't care about stuff like that. At least most traders don't. So 42.67 on that. So got it towards the top end of that candle, but we're range bound for a bit here, and ends up being an all right alert for the rest of the day. Dust. I think that's going to be another. Yeah, I thought that was another leverage fund. Get away from those leverage fund things here. This one, not so much. So, well, again, it wasn't a top tick, wasn't something that was realistically tradable as far as I'm concerned. But again, you might be looking at 1 minute charts and you might find this tradable. I'm looking at a 15 and 5 minute charts and not finding it tradable. URA, your global ETF on the uranium. Not really any interest there. All right, that looks good as far as the stock goes. Well, that's exceptional. That's the exception, not the norm. And while it looks like a great alert, 15.17, that thing, made it all up over that. Again, the exception, not the norm. But we start to get an idea of what it's looking for and what it's doing. So, now I wonder, because we looked at stuff that gapped up and made a move down and then a move back up early, do we want to look at stuff that had a gap at all? Do we want to see it kind of more flat from the open? No, this isn't a 5 minute pullback, Perfect Circle. We used a different alert today. We're messing around with some different stuff here. So on this, we used the 75% pullback from the lows off the open. So that's what we were messing with here on that. So let's see, ST. Where did that alert come from? Not seeing it there. Bird's the word. 2160. So nothing crazy there. Got it on the top end of that, and while the stock really didn't have a whole lot of range today, to be honest, we're looking back on a 5 day, so we had that dollar range back here where it would have qualified it for that filter. Blink, that's been popular lately. 4018 made a nice move off that alert, didn't hold that move, but also never really put you in danger either. So we're finding some okay setups in here, especially earlier in the day now. That not a great setup off that. And again, thinking realistically, yes, it got the alert just below 14, and sure, it made a 30-cent move up here, but realistically, not so much. I try to be as unbiased as I can on a lot of this stuff. $11 here, and again, not too shabby off that, to be honest with Guggenheim, as a matter of fact. Interesting financial, anyways. Tilray. So click a couple more of these, and then we'll start to think about what we saw and how some of these did mimic a lot of mimic the SPY, what the SPY was doing today, or one of the major indices. So hold on, I just want to, that symbol linking my SPY chart that I like to bring over. So I want to change that symbol linking to the charts that are over here. So for those that are familiar, I run this over all the time here, just so we can compare things. And comparing, that was not great to do. Whoops. Squash that up so we can see that SPY chart a little better. There we go. All right, so we can see some of these kind of mimicking, and while it's not exact, it has some similarities here to what was going on there. So the short and skinny as far as that goes, with the trying to get away from just trading in lockstep with the index. It's not possible with a scan to have a sufficient amount of alerts and it not trade some stuff that's obviously going to look like the indexes. But again, I think we start to get an idea of what we got here. A lot of fades here off that open, on top of some winners too. So again, clicking through a few of these here. Seed, this thing's done about 1 million reverse splits, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, lifetime high 44. Well, not as many reverse splits as I actually thought it's done. So I can get that window back up here. But again, this is getting more the top end of that alert, unfortunately. So, all right, I got some ideas now looking at this, all right? And we can see a lot of stuff that's faded off that open. So maybe we also want to see it on those alerts. What's something we can do? Let's come back to this window specific filter. What's something we can change around in here that might make us look a little better? So we've got the change from close at that range. Maybe position in today's range. The change from close would keep it above that. Just mess around with the position in today's range. And let's just say that, 30% off that too. Oh, I don't know how that affects with the alert we're using anyways. Let's go with all. Let's see how far back the scan's going to give us some data for. So now we're going back a couple of days also to give us a better data set too here. Zoom this out a few days. And zoom that in a few days. So something like EVH gave us 2966 the other day. All right. And made a move up after that. Bed Bath gives us a 1980 alert. So interesting. Wondering if this maybe, can work for a few days here worth of data. You can't account for that gap on cake there. But, interesting to see some of this now on a different perspective as well. TTR. And so 4318 back down on this end of it. And it worked out during that day, and it worked out as a few day hold. So, and this is how some things can start to develop. So we ask ourselves, this is looking interesting off a couple of day hold here too. Let's see. I don't think any TE is trading anymore. Is that correct? Yeah. So they must have changed something here since that day, because that's the alert. The alert came in on this day here, and that was the end of it. PetQ. This one, not so much. All right, we're looking, some interesting stuff here. Mess around with this a little more. And again, if someone has some ideas, if they want to throw something out there or a thought that they have, we were looking at a 75% pullback off the lows. What happens if we change this around? Let's scroll down and look at a 25% off the lows pullback from the open. Let's add that alert. Let's swap these out. Let's run the data back on this again. So same scan, same filters. But we don't have a whole lot coming in on today. Look at that. Not very much coming in today after that. Very interesting. So this doesn't look as nice with that alert like that. All right, let's configure. Let's mess around with it some more. Let's go with Let's go with the pullback off the close, 75%. Let's add that alert. Let's see what that looks like. And this is scan building 101 right here. Nothing meeting the criteria of that today. Go with history and all and see if the scan meets anything ever. So nothing today, but I had a good amount of alerts coming through it yesterday. Interesting. All right. Some food for thought on all this here. I wonder what would be blocking it today from making any move come through. 5 day range. Let's get some different volume metrics instead. And I'm just kind of shooting around, messing around with this. So again, if someone has something else they'd rather see demonstrated or mess around with, um, you know, that's what I'm here for. Let's start looking at stuff, at least 5 minutes into the open. Mm, Not so great. 2366. So nothing great there. Skip GDX. Let's, stay away from the ETFs. Where does get this on that tail? So 1437. So I got that on this tail, almost towards the top of the body, almost to the body of the candle. And, a little spring action off that. Interesting. And 1222. I got that here. Faded. Came back. Nothing crazy, but nothing terrible either. Well, that's not pretty. Well, that's pretty. Never even fell below that alert price. But also, you might have had been moving quick on this early in the day. Who knows what the spread on that stock was? I'm watching the time and sales on it now. It's moving pretty quick, but nothing crazy. Sorry, just a question coming in here that I answer on text. So I'm really interested in divergence, but I am not smart enough yet to mess with custom formulas. Nice auto setting you showed yesterday. Area I want to explore more. Yeah, that is, like I said, that divergence that Michael set up. He has a way to be able to do all that math like that. It's literally, he started to show me how some of that stuff works, and it's literally spreadsheets where he is crunching all the numbers on that through our test server to push that back out. So he's essentially creating the data, and it's just not something, unfortunately, we could do that way with that. But just we got the weekend there, perfect circle, mess around with it. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. A group of you get together and you decide, hey, we'd like to see this scan built. You get 15, 20, 30 people. I don't know what Michael's threshold is, so I can't speak for him on that. But you get a group of people that have a consensus on a scan, the basis of a scan that you want built, and send in an email. I'll campaign on your behalf with Michael as well to get it built in the Market Explorer. So, however you guys decide to coordinate that, whether it's using the off-topic tag in the trading room or something like that, get a group together like that. I'll leave that at your all discretion to make your bid that way. So, all right, some interesting stuff here. A lot to mess around with, a lot to think about. We could always play around with the back test of it, of course. And part of what I do at the beginning of scan building is throwing stuff at the wall off an idea. All right. And then make it happen from there. Maybe a pullback from the highs. I wonder what the pullback from the highs off the close looks like. So let's see, a pullback from the high. Let's add that alert. Let's switch this around. It's our window specific filter. We're still kind of messing around in there. still want to see it up from the close. Ding, ding, ding. Market's closed for the week. Didn't even see that coming. Again, let's run this back and let's look at today. What it happened to look like. Sorry, I have a position in HUT. I want to see how that finished out for the day. I couldn't get my target hit. Oh well. So let's see, 1282. All right, that's interesting. 5 minutes into the open, so we're not jumping right on it. And while this looked okay, off the alert, again, something you'd probably have fast moving, maybe 1, 2, 3 minute charts on a 5 minute chart still doesn't look great either. But certainly, 1316 runs up all the way up to 1365 ish. Definitely alpha there. How fast you're trading, how fast you're moving. Jump around to a later alert with Tilray. All right, not too shabby off that. 1216. Never really anything awful off that. Interesting stuff here. Just kind of clicking around these, giving the eyeball look. Not very many alerts off this either. So, again, to begin to think about. Wonder if that $1 range on 5 days is too much. What happens if let's make it 75%. Pulling back off yesterday. Let's put that at a 5. Column blocks and scan and show off on the tape. Chart showed the volume 2, but nothing showed on the tape. That's when I'm guessing you mean the time and sales for the tape perfect circle, and that might not show up till later in the day when it gets settled. However they do that, because as the alert says in the description, some of those things are done over the phone, and so it doesn't hit the tape till late. Yeah, so it may not be hitting the tape till later. They don't have to show it right away, the way that stuff works. And what you have to understand in this world is that there's rules for us that we all have to follow, or the SEC is going to literally lock us up. And for all the rest of the people, just depends on how much money they're kicking back to those people, and whether you like to hear that or not, or whether they admit that, or and it's not a conspiracy thing. It's just the way it works. There's different sets of rules for different people. All related to something where we get a lot of people that are trying to create really fast scalping, uh, automated trading, where they're trying to, have a stop loss of 2 pennies and a target of 4 pennies or something like that. And they back test great and they go to deploy and it falls apart completely. And they can't understand why it falls apart completely. And this is the reason why. One, if you can find someone that has tick by tick data on back testing, let me know. All right. I'd like to see their platform, number one. We use open, high, low 1 minute candles, open, high, low, close 1 minute candles. But if you can find a retail back tester that is using tick by tick data and it's affordable, I'd like to see that, number one. Number two is the people that high frequency trade and are most successful are big, big, big firms. Those people literally pay tens of millions of dollars to be a few feet closer to the servers of the exchanges. They are not paying those tens of millions of dollars because they think that speed doesn't matter. So that's what, anybody that's going up against something like that is going up against. And is that fair? Absolutely not. That's the world we live in, a very unfair world. So anyways, with that said, back to our scan here. So that didn't really open much up on this here. Same kind of stuff coming through. Interesting though, all the same. What if we change our thought here? We're looking at, being up from yesterday. What if we looked at something being down from yesterday? So all right, that's what we're looking at now. What do we put a minus 1% here? Oops, not minus 0.1%, minus 1%. And we got rid of this, just out of curiosity. That might not work the way we're looking back at pullbacks from the open off the lows. Try that. And again, like I said, I'm just spitballing here, building a scan. If someone's got something they want to look at or talk about or discuss, please, open forum. Always an open forum here with me. So, I haven't seen what I really wanted to see out of any of this, to be honest. So, I took a dive down something, and I think more it's my filters than the alert itself, and that's that. So I didn't really get anything together here that I thought was worth sharing. So I hope nobody, and we've gone all through this, so going back is going to be tough. Jump back in here into the alerts. We were looking at pullbacks. We look at breakouts, running up, running down, channel breakout. Breakout at 15 minutes here. What happens if we use all the same stuff we're using in here? Just curious. So let's get a gap filter in here instead. Let's hide the unused. Put a gap in here. And so we want to find stuff that gapped up. It's strong, all right? And just out of curiosity, change from open. Oops. So not only did we gap, but even if we were trace that gap some, we're still up from the open. Just curious here. I'm just spitballing again, just throwing stuff out there. Not a whole lot. Got this early though. That was a runner. I didn't get it that early. Didn't get it that early, as a matter of fact, at all. Got it here on that big top tail. Interesting. You can see the weed stocks are still doing their thing. So once again, not really returning me what I want. Go back to the drawing board and get rid of this. See what happens. Doesn't have to be up from the open anymore. Just has to have had a gap. No, didn't really add much to it. Get rid of the gap. And we see we're just up from the open now. Well, you would just create multiple alert windows, Robert, with the heartbeat function. That's how you would go about it. I'm getting some more stuff coming through here with this. So like what I would do is, come to new alert window. All right, go search heartbeat. I'm going to add that filter. Unused, all right, and then I'll just leave this as it is in here just for the example. All right, and then boom, here's your second time I've done that now. There's the alert window, and then let's just pretend, whoops, let's duplicate this and just pretend that there were multiple heartbeat alerts. All right, so we've duplicated this a few times. All right, and then we'll come to new and a multi-strategy. All right, so we're bringing over a blank multi-strategy. All right, and we're going to configure, we're going to collaborate, copy. All right, oops, okay, right click, No, strategy, sorry. New strategy. Collaborate. All right. And then get rid of what's in here. Paste. Boom. There's first strategy that's in there. All right. And then you just do the same thing. So right click, pretending if this was a different one, collaborate, copy. All right. Right click, strategies. Again, new strategy, collaborate. And get rid of what's in there already, that blank. We're going to add our collaboration link, and boom, once again. And so if these had been different ones, then you have multiple heartbeats alerts that are in the multi-strategy window. I think that's what you were after, Robert. Let me know if I wasn't clear or if I'm missing what you were after, and we'll keep at it. Let's see there. Dan's Apostle set up a chart with major indices on it. I'm not sure what you mean by chart with major indices on it, like the S&P 500. Not sure if our charts will have that data. SPX. Nope. You got to stick with SPY. So SPY. You know, you do this, and then you can unlink the chart and just have this up, and it's going to mimic this. It's going to mimic the SPX. Essentially, you're just, you know, instead of being, you know, 4,600, you know, it's 460 essentially. But yeah, you can just unlink it. So here, you know, properties, symbol linking, uncheck that symbol linking. So like I've unchecked the symbol linking on that now. All right. And now that's chart's just going to sit there and be SPY while everything else is changing. And you can do that with multiple charts. You know, if you're on standard, I think you're limited at 10 charts. If you're on premium, you get up to 20 charts. You could always, if you want, you know, use your broker's charts. You know, you could, you know, bust out charts from your broker and then externally link them. So like, you know, for example, I use IB. I could use IB's charts. I like our charts. I don't have any problem with them. They are improving, and I will tease that, you know, at some point they're going to be basically tick by tick what I'm hoping is not too distant future. There's a few things that are top priority for the dev team right now. One is there are some people that have some delays when they click a symbol. It takes that delay we're trying to get rid of. That never really happened like that before, although I probably have a delay because I'm running a bunch of streaming stuff, and I've got a mess of programs open on my PC right now. If I close things down, I'll move faster. But that's number one. There's just some users, and someday it bothers some users, someday it doesn't. And it wasn't before we added the docking that was an issue. So it's their number one priority. Then the number two priority is a consolidated data stream that we're trying to create where we don't need data from anybody but ourselves. That's number two priority. So, all right, I take that. Thank you, Robert, means that I hit what you were looking for. And then one per chart, right? You can't put multiple in one. No, you can't. No compared charts, if that's what you're looking for. I think you're kind of hinting at compared charts, which I would love us to have. Michael would love us to have those more than anybody, I think. The only thing that I could suggest to you at that point is creating a doc with, a few unlinked charts in it. And so, you could have, let's say if we unlinked each one of these properties, unlink properties, unlink properties, unlink, and then this one, I could go SPY here, Qs here, IWM here, and that's it. And they're all unlinked. And now it doesn't matter what I click. They're all in a doc, so they can move together nicely. There they are, nice and linked together, linked as in they're together, but they're unlinked as in doesn't matter what I do. They're just on those indexes charts. But as far as compared charts go, no, I wouldn't hold my breath on that, unfortunately. So, all right, 415. Moving right along here in the world. So let's get those linked back up for me there. Linked properties, linked. All right. I mean, at least I know where you're going with it. I would, yeah, but that'd be my best option workaround for you. So are all those linked again? Nope. What did I click? Yeah, they're all linked again. Okay. So all right, we're messing around with that 75% pullback. A little bit more in here off that. 25. That was all right. 27. Not so much. Made a little move off that. It's coming in late off that. Anyways, 1 o'clock alerts are always. I'm skeptical of anything that comes in at 1 o'clock, especially on a Friday. Argentina soil preparation planting. You know, it's all right. 80, a little bit of run up. Big float, 470 in the float. I was hoping to put something together that looked kind of decent off of all this, but apparently, how do the sectors look to you? Yeah, we've been getting a lot of love the last. I don't even know. Let me mess around with this. I wanted to make something decent to share with you guys today, and then I'll spend the last couple of minutes going over some sectors. Overall, the market looks strong, and again, we had this. I don't know what is a 1.33% pullback, and I was already hearing bearish talk again. I just don't get it. Like, it's fine. Obviously, at some point, we will. There has to be a bear market at some point, a non-COVID bear market at some point. It has to be, right? You would think. Uh, you know, we're just not seeing it. We're not seeing anything lining up for it. It'll come. You know, as Andy says, it'll come like a thief in the night. um, but why would I prepare for why would I prepare for something that just doesn't make any sense to me at this point? That's my thought on anybody getting all bearish. The market just looks like it's ready to punish anybody that gets shorted for any period of time. And again, that's not to say you can't hedge short, and not to say you can't have short strategies that work in this environment or anything like that. It's just anybody bearish the market. I don't understand it. I simply don't understand it. Here's some more interesting looking alerts off some of this here. Excuse me, I'm trying to shift myself at my desk. My knees are killing me from running a marathon still. Just not getting what I'm looking on out of for all these. Right now, I was looking at like a channel break out of 5 minutes. So I know the name says something different, but I wasn't finding what I wanted on those pullbacks earlier. So the thesis I've been trying to do the entire time on this scan building is build it off the alert. So I've messed around, I was messing around with the 15-minute consolidation breakout. Now I'm messing around with this $5 one. So, let's say I wasn't even putting anything on here, but let's put a 15 there and just see what that does on this here. That really limited things. Let's try this. So I'm really, honestly, Robert, I'm just throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what sticks. Really nothing here. And some of this are things that I've never played with. While I understand what the definitions of these things are, I figure, you know what? There's things that I could still learn about the platform. While I know they exist, I've never really messed with the functions of them. So why not learn and grow with everybody here? Um, Someone had made a comment to me recently that they didn't find the 3 o'clock, these sessions that I'm doing helpful because I was talking about charts and markets and not the software. So I took that to heart and I said, you know what? Well, I'm going to focus on software and I'm going to get away from charts and things like that, unless people are, making a throwing out their request specifically or anything like that. So I'm just going to mess around with scan building, throwing the spaghetti at the wall. Everybody wants to build the ultimate scanner. And while the ultimate scanner really doesn't exist, I've had ambitions over the years of building something that might make its way into the Holly Hopper. So who knows? I'm doing this 5 days a week with you guys. I've got some ideas, and maybe together, we build something together that ends up in Holly, and you guys get the base strategy of a Holly. Now the way Holly works is that once a base strategy looks great and it's created, um, and it goes into the hopper, whatever that base strategy is, it won't be the same as Holly goes through our optimization process. But the core of it will always remain the same. The alert type will always remain the same. And some of the cores of the filters will remain the same. The values might change, filters could get added. Um, I don't get involved in any of that stuff, how that magic works behind the scenes on those optimization processes. That's far above me, but I know that I can certainly get something back tested and looking healthy enough for them to throw it in there and see how the Holly logic works on it. I've yet to do it, but I figure, you know what? I'm in here 5 days a week with you guys. Why not mess around and build some stuff and see what happens? Maybe we get something kind of special. We're doing it 5+ hours a week, anyways. They have all day to listen about the software. Yeah, it's also twofold why I started doing these 3:30 sessions. One, I think, is people are obviously, there's a lot to the software. The software, you could dive down rabbit holes forever on it. um, so I want people to be educated on the software. One. Two, I think, once people start to get educated on the software, then it starts to become a trick with a trick with just trading itself and looking at charts and understanding things. And that stuff just comes with seat time and listening to people that have done it. Everything that I know and I understand came from all the webinars that I attended over all the years of being a Trade Ideas subscriber and being in the room with Barry and watching not just Barry but other people that have come and gone in that room. There's some great traders in that room years ago that have come and gone. One guy named Dusty passed away a few years ago. Guy was an unbelievable momentum trader, unbelievable. And while I don't trade the way he does, there was things that he talked about and showed on charts that opened up to me. So I want to be able to share those things with you guys too. And that's why I do go over charts and things like that, because there's a twofold to trading. Sure, you have the greatest scan on the world, but if you can't read a chart, if you can't manage a position, that scan means absolutely nothing. And vice versa. You might be great at reading charts, but if you can't find ideas, the same concept. So, twofold. So there's two things I was trying to do with creating these 3:30 sessions. And you're a small crew in here, and I appreciate every one of you that's in here every day. I really do. Um, so with all that said, messing around with all this, I really didn't come up with anything great or crazy in here, but we should share something today. So those that don't have it, everybody always asks about high of the day momentum scanners and blah 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 with that. So there's a high day momentum scanner that exists. It's a very coveted scanner. I have a link to it. So here you go, everybody. Have a high of the day momentum scanner. Oops, typing the wrong things here. So it's a multi-window. How good is it? I don't know. I'll be honest. I have never ever opened this window and run it. Copy. Okay. Get rid of that. Let's paste it. There you go. Make it yours. It only works during regular market hours. Has a relative volume filter in it. It's a multi-window. I won't comment where I got it from. I'll just say that a lot of people want it. It's very popular. Is it a successful window? I have no idea. I just know that I can't tell you. I must get asked for it 10 times a week from people that, there's a certain trading personality out there that created it, and people always want it from him. And so I got it, and there it is, shared with you all for the day. So let's spend the last couple of minutes here and get rid of, clean all this other stuff up here. And let's dive into some sectors real fast. So jump through the major ones. We're going to do this a one, two, three real fast here. Let's zoom out. We talked about, we got extended on the SPY here. Um, we jumped right through here, and there's your all-time highs, and we fished around here near those all-time highs and blasted right through it. All right, and we consolidated and pulled back. All right, I would still like to see us kind of consolidate a little bit more, keep things healthy, let this 20 SMA kind of move up, let that 50 SMA kind of move up, let it all kind of capture the price there. That would be nice, that would be healthy. Heck, it, honestly, it would be healthy if we again pulled all the way back down to 440 again. That would be really healthy to me. I'd love that, as a matter of fact, but I don't think that's likely right now, especially heading into the end of the year. So with that said, we'll jump to the Qs. Um, this one a little bit different. This was the all-time highs to blast through. We didn't mess around at the all-time highs as much. We kind of just took right through it, and that was it. I don't know why I have that line drawn there. That's confusing me. Not sure why I got that line there. But kind of interesting. It was a pivot point of today. Well, that's a happy accident or not, why I drew that line, to be honest. 390. Anyways, lost in thought with that. So we blasted right through that. That's it. We make a pullback. We consolidate again. Try to let these moving averages catch up and start to push it back along again. Revision to the mean. I think that's always important to think about. IWM. And again, this one, talked about this one a little more over the weeks. I like to just spend a little extra time on this one just because for so long, stuck in this range, right? And then I talk about this position in 20-day. And when we start to see it make moves like this as a steps up, how healthy I feel like that is. And I think we're seeing that health play out in the more recent price action here. As you know, we took out that all-time high, made a move up, made a move down, and we made a move back up again, and now we start to consolidate again. I would prefer, and I think it would be healthier bull market wise, for us to not test below this line again. All right. Testing the line, yes. Testing below the line, not so much. But, as I talk about with pivot lines, whoopsies happen. You get a whoopsie and then push back right up again. But small caps look healthy, and they look prime, and they look ready, and they look like they're ready to go. I especially like the way this 8 EMA caught it, and it makes this little hook move right here with that price action. What does that mean? It means nothing. It means price action will continue to develop. But that's what I like. That's what my mind sees. That's what my eye sees as far as that goes. So that's your IWM, diamonds, your Dow 30s. This one seems to have made a little bit more of a pullback, actually, than the other guys have. In the long term, though, still all real healthy stuff, big picture. That's what we look at here, big picture. And so path of least resistance remains up. Healthy pullback. This one's caught the 20 SMA a little bit more, but I also think it was extended off it a little less. Again, all things being revisions to the mean. So that's short and skinny there. Let's jump into the sectors real fast. Let's get rid of some of this nonsense here. Don't need any of that. Don't need any of that. Don't need any of that. There we go. So yeah, we were discussing the MJ there. Again, I don't know why it's doing what it's doing, but the MJ looks real healthy. The winds look changing on it to me all of a sudden out of nowhere. And I talk about, I'll call something a dog right up until it's not a dog, and my thought on it could change, midday on something. So I won't go chasing pot stocks, but I'll certainly start to take them a little more seriously. I feel like this is, a major kind of area to try to clear, to say it's a trend change now, that we're not just, you can't go down every day, and just like you can't go up every day. But, we start to look at this in here. Whoops, that's terrible looking. Start to look at this in here. All right. And then that's the next level to build off of. So that's what I would say for pot stocks. If you're looking at them, maybe you take an extra look. We're over the 50 moving average on that. We'll see. Again, the things that I don't get with it, and just my own thought of logic, is the fact that in this country, in Canada, you grow your own weed basically anywhere at this point. Um, you know, Tons of states have legalized it. The federal government is turning more of a blind eye in some areas than other areas. But the issue and the other, so it's like, how do you make a business out of it? And the other issue with the businesses is banks still won't take your money if you own a dispensary. It's just that simple. So what do you do with all that money? Yeah, I made $400,000 selling pot this year legally. What am I doing with that $400,000 cash? I can't bank it legally. So, those things remain to be a logistical issue as far as I'm concerned in pot stock. So, anyways, that's my thoughts on that between charts and logic. These are your shippers here. Just kind of ugly on the shipping. I guess, global shipping gut, we can say, was bearish for shipping and the big increases in shipping prices and all that like that. So shippers, dogs. And that's not to say there aren't shippers that can't win or can't do well, but the index is telling you differently as an overall set of things. Yeah, Cayman Islands, that's where you go. That's right. Yeah. Um, Home builders, before I'd taken a hiatus from going over the sectors and doing sector analysis, I talked about the home builders looked like they were really ready for it. Talked about that back in here, and they did exactly what I thought they would do. Again, it's not, that my opinion matters or anything like that. It was just what I felt like I saw on the charts were going on. And what was I seeing in the charts? I see the big picture in the charts, all right? See this, all right? Then I like to see it like this too. And then I like to see it like this. So on multiple time frames on this is what I was seeing. I liked it. I liked the odds for that breakout. I thought it was ready to set and ready to break out back here. It did so. All right. In full disclosure, I made absolutely no home builder bets whatsoever. I should have. I didn't. There's just something with some of the charts that were coming through my scans that there was no trigger to be pulled. And so money was left on the table. And that's how it goes. Cloud computing, again, continues to be strong. Oh, and one other thing that I'll make a comment on the home builders, there's your position and range. They were negative at some point on the year here. I think it was at the beginning of the year. They're now all the way up at the high of the range on the year again. So that's the home builders. Back to cloud computing. I think when you're coming to technology stuff, that's the way the world we're going. The cloud, for now, is just infinite storage and becomes more and more. And Amazon and probably Walmart will have a cloud at some point if they don't already, and Microsoft doing what they're doing with it, and I wouldn't put it past Elon Musk and Tesla to start doing some stuff with it. So you find yourself some cloud stocks that you like long term. Take some heavy looks at them. On the short term, obviously, it's choppy, but again, we look at big picture here. All right. Sorry, my drawings aren't always exactly what I like them to be, but that's what we're looking at here. All right. Things like this here, and cloud computing just looks like it's set for that next level up for sure. I like that very much, as a matter of fact. And we can even call, just for perfect circle here, am I seeing it right? Let me make sure. Some RSI divergence. And what do I mean by RSI divergence? All right. So on a daily chart of RSI, all right, there's your RSI, and we're moving up in price. All right. And so while we have that immediate move up, we're still an overall move down on RSI while we move up in price. So just my eye kind of caught that for you there. Those of you that are exploring RSI divergences, there you go. Let's see, communication sector. This is one of the heavier ones that are played as far as an ETF goes. We're range bound in this still. Can't say healthy or unhealthy. We're just range bound. What do I mean by range bound? That's what I mean by range bound. We're chopping away. We're chopping away. There's your all-time highs up in it. All right. Really no clear edge on any of this, to be honest. Really no clear edge whatsoever on that. That's communications. They remain up for the year. I'll close you with the AMD there, Dan. Let's see what else jumps at me here. We covered the Qs. Vox is another communication. Your semiconductors just continue to just blast everybody out of the water. Could you imagine being short semiconductors? I mean, imagine that. Let's zoom out just for a second here. Could you imagine being short that? I mean, it wouldn't be for long, that's for sure. I mean, it's just gone parabolic again, too. So obviously, don't go chasing. But I would say, the theme in semiconductors, something for people that are looking at longer term things too, and how to use scanning and charting for longer terms. If you got an extra 15 bucks or whatever it is laying around, maybe it's 30 bucks, I don't even know. How to Make Money in Stocks by William J. O'Neill. He talks about cup and handle patterns. That's where I stole my cup and handle patterns from, right from that book, right from William J. O'Neill. You buy stocks going up, you don't buy stocks going down. That doesn't mean you buy stocks, going parabolic going up. Maybe you look for pullbacks and things like that, but what's a real pullback? Not something that's crashing. I know human nature is buy things on discount, but what I'm making a point here of is he goes into talk about cup and handle patterns on weekly and monthly charts on sectors and stocks that are innovating. They're new. Semiconductors are still innovating and still new. The technology with them right now is infinite, and you can see that play out on the chart here. And my point being is that you can find these cup and handle patterns non-stop all through here. And you want to call them cup and handle patterns, great. You can also call them higher highs, lower lows. All right, all through here. So just non-stop. So now you start to say for long-term investing, you start to bust out scans that maybe you're looking at position and ranges in years and things like that. Longer term volumes and all those kind of things. And that's just kind of how that goes like that. So semiconductors, just, pound the table on that for a long time here. Solars, they're trying to break out. They wanted to break out. Are they going to break out? Yes. It's not a hard yes, but that's, everybody else gets to predict things. Why can't I, right? I still see the solar starting to make a move again. They're very range bound. We've discussed this range at nauseum here. We can call that the range with this line here. We can call that a whoopsie below it if we want. We broke out. We've come back. We've tested this line. We're moving back up again. And I think we'll continue to move up to here and then possibly here. Now, the question is, are we breaking out to highs, or are we just breaking out to a new higher range? All right. Could that be the new higher range that we start to work in now? That will remain to be told by price action. So that's your solars. Sorry, I'm getting yelled at here because I haven't logged out of our system yet. Sorry, I just have to log out of something here so that we don't have things coming in that we don't want. All right, SOX is your semiconductors again. XRT, we just actually, funny, Steve, I'm trying to follow some chats that are going on between traders and talked about XRT looking strong. And yeah, that looks real strong to me. This is something that if you've been in these with me, again, it's been a while since I touched on sectors. So I talked about, is it this or is it this? Well, we have our answer now. All right. Hindsight's 2020, but all the same, we discuss and we look. All right. And we could also say, we've been in a big range here. All right. There's a whoopsie off that range. All right. So we came up, we blasted up, we come back down. All right. We came up and we moved in that range. We got a whoopsie. We've been stuck in this range this whole time. And now we're pulling up out of that range. And we note that that range break is breaking an all-time high again on the XRT and the retailers. And what's something that we know that's happening? We work with, charts, and we work with logic. We know that Christmas is coming. We know that Hanukkah is coming. We know that Thanksgiving is coming. We know that Kwanzaa is coming. We know all these things are coming. There's a lot of stuff that goes on here via retail. And so now we start to look at, do you want to play the big box stores? Do you want to play clothing stores? Is it your Walmarts? Is it your Amazons? Is it your Targets? This is what we start to look at. But this is what the charts are telling us. The retail's looking good. Retail looks set up. You want a retail play? Here's one that I love to trade. Tanger outlets. I don't have one near me. I don't think. Someone told me there's one in Jersey. I live in New York. But there's a great trading vehicle, SKT. Love this as a trader. Get big moves up, big moves down. So you want to short, you get some great shorting moves. You want to go long, you get some great long moves. All right. So, just to throw an idea for retail trading out there for you. Let's keep it moving here. Trying to wrap up for the weekend. Let's touch on China. I said my opinion will change on China. The second I feel like it can. It's trying to change. My opinion's I'm trying to change my opinion. Short-term picture. All right. We're in this range here. Are we making there? Have we established a hard double bottom low here? And now that's a higher low, getting ready to bust out of this range and then maybe create a new higher range up here to work like that. It looks very possible that that's what that is trying to do. All right. Part of my mind also says, are we looking at, we've just created another short-term double top here to create a lower range again. It's also very logical. What's having me trouble getting behind China's KWEB, which is your Chinese internet stocks, is that daily chart zoomed out. That is just a falling knife. And while, it's so beat up, is it just saying we're just going to be beat up in a range before we break a range lower again? I still lean towards that. We'll see. I've been wrong about many things. I might be wrong about that. My leaning on that might be wrong. But for now, what do I see is you got an all-time high there. Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower highs, slightly lower highs. Is that going to be a lower high or is that going to be a trend change? The next few days will determine, are we a trend change or are we just a lower high again? All right. And the price action will determine that. I will say the one other thing that gets me leaning bullish on it is I see a lot of Chinese stocks coming through scans, a lot of Chinese internet stocks coming through scans. So are the stocks making moves and pumping things up before the KWEB itself gets rolling? Possibly. Very possibly. Let's keep it moving here. Let's hit the RSP. For those that don't know, your RSP is your equal weighted SPY, your equal weighted S&P 500. Again, really strong, really healthy. Great sideways action on taking out that all-time highs there. The momentum averages, we just never got real extended off that 8 EMA, which I like. That 20 SMAs catching, starting to get that little curl and maybe ready for a push up. So just the market looks super healthy. Your healthcare, right? Is this healthcare? Yeah, IYH, your healthcare. All right, we made a nice march up. We made a nice pullback, making a nice move up. All right, slight pullback, and I think that's the route that we're going to make there. The square root of healthcare is bullish, in my opinion. Is it bullish? I don't know, but that's kind of what it looks like to me. That's what I'm seeing there. That's what my eye's seeing there. This right here. All right, we came down. We didn't like that. We had to test that. We broke through that resistance. Or broke through that support, we came right back up, and now we're testing it as support again. I think we're going to test it that way on healthcare. Long live sick people. There's your bios. We thought the bios were breaking out. I really did. I was really wrong. All right. We've discussed this here. I believe Perfect Circle. Dan, too. I think you guys have chimed in on this. We discussed this move here. I thought, all right, we came way off here and we're going to make this move up here. And nope. We are now, just like we discussed with the KWEB, we're now making lower highs. So there we put in. All right. There we put in. There we put in. There we put in. So we're making lower highs on the biotechs, just what's going on. So for now, path of least resistance remains lower on that. And we've even gone negative on the year on it right there. So we've even gone negative on the year after being up for the whole year on that, as a matter of fact. Your MYD, this is more of a shot at your mid caps, equally weighted. Yeah, sorry. They're Perfect Circle. So mid cap weighted, even. We look good here. Same thing as we talked about with the RSP. This one I'll say got a little more extended off that moving average. All right, so we had to pull back to it. I'd love again some sideways movement and moving up. And again, I say that as someone who, I've got positions on right now, so I want to see those positions get helped. I won't lie, if I was able to get out of those positions Monday or Tuesday and I eke out some wins on those, what would I really love? What would I really, really love? I'd love to see us go back down here. I'd love to see it. I think it would be healthy. I think it would be wonderful. I also would want to say that I hope everybody's out of their positions or protected properly. If that happens, I don't ever want to see anybody get hurt. I just think that, while this was, yes, in this big range for a long time here, I still think it would be healthy for us to come one more time back down to really close the door on this. Is it a bull market? Is the bull market over? And close that case and then give us that. I think that would be like ultra healthy, but you know, wish in one hand and let rain fall in the other hand and see what gets filled faster. You're gonna end up with a handful of rain. Um, Silver continues to make its bull case again, continues to show a trend change as far as I'm concerned. And so we can relate it to that K web where we saw that double top or whatever, a short term double top range on the K web. Why are you not working? There we go. All right. And the K web had something that looked just like that, but came down here and it's kind of floundered down here still. And it's come back like a little bit, but not all the way. So still kind of wedging down like that on the K web, where this came down, tested, and has moved back up. And we could even draw a few things and make some notes here. All right. That seems to be a pivot line that really held. So now we're making a higher range here, if you will. All right. So here we are in this new higher range, and now we're busting out of that higher range. So even if we come back down and test it, we still established a higher range here overall as far as silver goes. And so hindsight's 2020, SSRM. Shoot myself for not taking this. I thought about taking it the other day in the post market. I talked about it here in the post market. I said I was going to set an alert for a pullback around in this area. Thought I'd get an alert for pullback. Nope, gapped up and left the station without me. So it is what it is. I didn't have the guts to put the position on. No guts, no glory. So I got no glory on that one. But that is what it is. Hindsight trading. But just to give you an idea of what things look like. Gold. Trying to do the same thing here. Making that trend change. And the same kind of chart, almost very, very, very similar to that silver. So again, was it a double top here? Nope. It looks like it's established a higher range here. Although gold is getting even more extended and even a little stronger. Is it inflation? I don't know. I know silver is used as a conductor. It's a great conductor in chips. Someone said to me yesterday that gold is used. I really didn't know that. Call me ignorant, but I just thought that gold was too soft to be a conductor like silver. I guess I was wrong. I don't know. Maybe they're finding a way to put it in now. I'm not sure. I guess maybe I'll have to read up on that. It's longer term kind of stuff. So that's that. REITs, they continue to be strong. Real estate stocks. All right. We're getting down to the bottom of the list. Lithium ion continues to be strong. Just beautiful there. Energy continues to be strong. I like this pullback in energy. We could make a bear case. Are we going to curl and move down? I don't think so. And the reason I don't think so is it doesn't matter what anybody says or thinks or does or how they feel about pollution. Bottom line is we need oil. We need hydrocarbons to run the world for now. Someday maybe we won't. That would be a wonderful thing. I don't want people to just lose their jobs out of nowhere. But a healthy trend change to the other side, that's fine. I don't have any problem with wind or solar. It's just not practical yet. But for the time being, we're going to make money. We're going to look at oil to make money. And I think somewhere in this range, just above 100, is a nice range to come bounce off of. That's, I remain bullish like that on that as far as it goes. And again, I very well may be wrong, just like I've been wrong. Said I was wrong about biotechs. I thought biotechs were bouncing. I really did. I was dead wrong about those. So is this curling? I'm not sure. So it comes back to, is it this or is it just this? My 2 cents says it's that. We'll see. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's all there is to it. Banks, they remain strong. Those are your regionals. We skip the XLF, but let's look at the big boys, the overall sector. Again, real strong here. I like this kind of this shelf, this wedge that we're going out on here. That's what I like right there. Send me an email, Perfect Circle, and I can share the. I can't share the symbol list here that way, but someone that wants the symbol list that I have for the sector analysis scan, info at trade-ideas.com, and just say, hey, I'm looking for Chris's sector analysis list and scan. I'm going to send you a video exactly how to set it up, and I'll send you the list to copy and paste into your own symbol list. Let's wrap this up here. Let's wrap it up with Jets. I thought the Jets were breaking out, and I was wrong too there. I won't say I thought they were breaking out. I leaned towards them breaking out. I saw this. I saw this. I saw this gap. I thought maybe we're going to break away. Big travel times are coming up. People are tired of being, locked in. You've got one set of people that they're traveling. They've been traveling for a long time. You got another set of people that said, I've done enough staying home. Kind of saw this here. And that doesn't mean that's not happening. We've come and we filled that gap now. So maybe we filled that gap and we're moving up off of that. And this is what I mean. Let's zoom in a little bit more. I just didn't think we were going to fill that gap like that, to be honest. I'm perfectly wrong. I'm perfectly okay with being wrong. So we filled that gap essentially right there. All right. We bounce and we make that move up there. I still lean towards that we are as far as the Jets are going. Jets means airlines. Sorry, it's your global airlines. That's still what I think. I think we establish a higher range than what we've been in down here overall. All right. These are kind of more whoopsies. So that's my thoughts there. So, all right, what was we were going to look at? We're going to wrap up with AMD. You got a chip maker. Woof. So we talked about semiconductors and chips. All right. Now what I'll say with AMD is that they're the old guard, so they don't they flop around and they're a lot more heavy on earnings, and the big boys are always in them. When I say big boys, your big fund managers and things like that. You're looking at 1.2 mil in that float right there. Look at that. Look at that range all that time. All right. And whoosh. All right. We blasted out of that range. So we talk about a return to the mean. What would I want to see personally? I'd like to see a new range established here. All right. Above this here. I'd love to see this pull back to that right there and establish a new nice trading range to work on right there. But AMD looks strong as possible. I'm guessing they had some good earnings right here, obviously. And, a run up in and through it and a nice pull back into them and a revision to the mean. And that'd be my thoughts there. If you got a position in it, and let's say you were in here, or you were in here, or you were in here, manage your money. One of the hardest things for me to learn was to manage my winners. I had a real issue learning how to manage winners. If you're not sure how to manage your winners, start selling them when they're winners, or selling 90% of your position when they're winners. That'd be my 2 cents there. And then you asked about XBI. So we're looking at biotechs there. This one looks healthier than the IBB. Again, down sloping range. That was a terrible one. There we go. That's a little better. All right. We're wedging though. Going to have to resolve itself. It's heavy moving this way, but that doesn't mean anything. We could even draw it like this, wedging like this. All right. So we're wedging. We're going to have to resolve ourselves, or we're going to come back down here, bounce, bounce, bounce before we have to explode one side or the other. That's what I'm seeing there. You're stuck in a range for right now, and it doesn't look like it's gonna. It does not look like it's gonna resolve itself soon, to be honest. And what I mean by soon is not by next week. Maybe by next Friday we'll have a little better idea of that direction. Um, but it won't surprise me if we kind of bleed this way to Friday and then decide, are we going to bounce or are we not going to bounce? But yeah, that's what I see right there on that. So, all right, did we cover everything? And perfect circle. It's no bug whatsoever, man. That's what I'm here for. Went a little overtime today, but so we covered that. I'm just trying to read through everything. So, all right. Hopefully, you guys found that informative. I tried to keep it more scan building that first hour. I said this would be fast. I went through this, did a little more than I thought I was going to, but all the same. Hopefully, that worked out for you on that sector analysis, running through those again. And all right, so last thing I want to leave you with, position and range on the year on everything. Not a whole lot of red on that, right? Just not a whole lot of red. In fact, let's look at this red sectors. VXX doesn't count. That's not a sector. It's a volatility trading tool. Thanks, Dan. You too. You're very welcome, Robert. You're very welcome, Dan. I like doing this. So here's our red sectors. All right. Not very many. And even the red ones are not that red. China, big time red. FXI, that's your big cap Chinas. KWeb's your internet Chinas. All right. So that's what we're looking at here. All right. Emerging markets is red. All right. All that versus that. So what do we say? That's what a bull market looks like for the year. All right. There's a bull market everywhere. Quote some dude on TV that's loves his songs and dances. That's my short and skinny today. So, all right, everybody have a great weekend. I appreciate the comments, the questions, the thoughts. We'll get back at it next Monday. I think maybe next week we get into some serious scan building. We do some serious back testing. We'll try not to over optimize. I'll throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks, but I like it if you guys kind of drive it, and we'll do it like that together. So, all right, thanks everybody. Have a great weekend. Take care. Be happy. Be healthy. Be safe.